Hello, everyone, and welcome to the STEP program talking circle. We're going to wait just a couple seconds so that everyone can get their audio and video situated. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and read the disclaimer. This presentation was produced under U.S. Department of Education contract number GS00F115CA with Synergy Enterprises, Inc. The views expressed herein do not necessarily represent the positions or policies of the U.S. Department of Education. No official endorsement by the U.S. Department of Education of any product, commodity, service, or enterprise mentioned herein is intended or should be inferred. All right, today we have a really great agenda for you. We're going to start with some reminders and announcements, move into some introductions, talk about some implementation challenges, and then finish with some upcoming events. Your program officer, Donna Bussell, is here. Donna, do you have anything you want to share?
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for being here at our kicking off our January Talking Circles.
Great. Thank you, Donna, for joining us. And we are always so excited to have you here with your wealth of knowledge. My name is Sarah Ruff, and I am an OIETA team coach. I am new to your STEP team, so thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be working with you as grantees, and hopefully I can help you in any way that you need. So we're going to start with some reminders and announcements. As we had finished 2022 and head into 2023, we are moving into our APR session. It's a great time to do the following things. The first would be to review your GEPRA and performance measures to make sure that you have appropriate data collection methods and tools to report on for both your GEPRA and project measures. The second would be to take time to review your data collection tools and methods and the data that they're collecting. Even though you may not have a complete set of data, are your tools and the methods that you're collecting information that you need to report for your GEPRA and project measures ready? Are those methods being administered in a timely fashion? Are you using this data to inform any decision-making regarding your program or even the tools themselves? So be thinking about all of the tools that you have for data collection and the methods that you have for data collection. And then the last one would be to check with your fiscal staff. Make sure that you take some time to reconcile the expenditures that you have with their expenditures, including drawdowns and budget categories and line item expenditures. Identify how often drawdowns are being made and any challenges related to the budget. We are going to have an APR preparation webinar on March 30th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So go ahead and mark your calendars for that. And this is just a reminder that your year 3 APR is due on April 28th. So be sure to take that down as well. Does anyone have any questions here? All right. We will go ahead and move on to talking about credit on materials. So this is just a little reminder that as you're creating your materials for anything that you're producing that has to do with your grant, that you must include a disclaimer language when publishing or disseminating any grant project materials. So the contents of they're listed here, and they start with the contents of this type of publication. Maybe your book was developed under the grant, and they don't necessarily represent the policy of the Department of Education. And then the website is listed there. So you can use that right there. Also, if you look at the second bullet, if you would like to use the department's official seal on materials, then you need to make sure that you contact the Office of Communications and Outreach for approval to access that. And they have the website listed here at the bottom, or there is a phone number if you'd like to call them as well. All right. So we are super excited. The Office of Indian Education Student Artist Competition is open and ready for all of your submissions. So if you could send this out to anyone that you know that has students in early childhood through grade 12, we are super excited to be getting entries for art, writing, and video. The competition theme this year is I Am the Future, and entries should relate to the theme and show the importance of education for Native youth. So we're looking for art projects like painting, drawing, printmaking, textiles, beading maybe. Then there's writing, which is a personal narrative. And then there is also a personal performance piece that's no longer than 3 minutes for the video. So not a very long video. I'm sure that you can, if any student in that age group will probably know how to do some TikTok. So that may be a little bit of fun for them. All of those entries are submitted online by March 29th, and Alani has put in the chat where you can get more information from the tinyURL website, and also where you can submit any of those art pieces. All right. Another thing that we're really excited to share with you is we have finalized a theme for our project directors meeting. Our theme this year is going to be Rooted in Sovereignty, and we're going to take place virtually June 6th through 8th from 12 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember that for project directors, this meeting is mandatory, but this year we have an exciting change. Last year, you were only able to bring 3 people with you, and this time you can bring any number of people that you want. You can invite your entire team, which is really great because we'll be having some conversations about budget. We'll be having some conversations about all sorts of things. So lots of professional development. We will have lots of choices. And with that, we would like to know a little bit more about what topics you would like to see for your professional development. So I have 3 questions up here on the screen, and I would love for you to come off of mute or maybe put some answers in the chat. We will start with the first question. What topics would you like to see included in the PD meeting? Remember, this is your PD, and so we want to make sure this is your development. We want to make sure that we are bringing to you what you need. And so we would love to hear from you. You can drop anything in the chat. Maybe there's something that you saw last year that was really good that you'd like a refresher on. Maybe there's something that you know, are really like, hey, we need more opportunities with looking at the budget. Great, Carl, thank you. Indigenous focused curriculum and instructional best practices. That sounds great. So let's move on to the second question. If you have any answers related to the first, please feel free to put them in the chat. Are you doing a program or process that you would like to share with your fellow project directors? Is there anything that you are doing that you're thinking, hey, I really would love to share this? I want to put a caveat on that. It does not have to be perfect. I know a lot of times we think about, oh, well, you know, I'm doing this, but it's not great. Remember that our challenges are things that we learn from and that others can learn from as well. So is there anything that you've done, maybe a challenge that you've gone through that you would like to share with your fellow project directors? I'll give you a little think time. Yes, Carl, that is a really big one, starting up a tribal charter school. Absolutely. And I'm sure that a lot of people would be really interested in hearing about what that process looks like for you, what the really positive things were, maybe what the challenges were in doing that. Excellent. Thank you. Yes, Carl, Sarah wants to know if you have settled on a mascot.
Sorry, completely off topic, but a separate conversation we've been having.
But we would love to know. We're always interested in hearing about how your programs are going.
That's a great question. We do have a survey. We've got the students looking at different options. The students are kind of going a different pathway that necessarily matching up with our vision and mission for the school. One of their top choices is the hooligans. Of course, that's not going over well.
But I do like the creativity.
Correct.
Yeah, hooligans is a fish up here with a lot of oil, and it's a subsistence use fish, but it also has, you know, the double meaning.
Yeah, it's very creative.
So we're working with the students, and we're going to send a survey out to parents and elders and tribal members and try to steer them maybe to something a little different. But yeah, we're still working on that process.
All right, I'm going to check back later. I'm invested in this now.
Yes.
Yeah, but thanks for asking.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Carl. Deidre, I see you have your hand up.
Hi, thank you for giving me time. Just a quick introduction. My name is Deidre Fleury. I'm the project director for Cheyenne Arapaho Tribes. So I am probably new to the group. We also have Melvin, he's online too. My question is for Carl, and I'm sorry to pull you back on. I just would like to know kind of at what stage you are at in your development, kind of where you are, where you've been, and what community you're serving.
Well, I'll start with the community. So we're actually, Connect Tribe serves an area about the size of West Virginia in the Upper Cook Inlet. And I'm a tribal education specialist, and I recently retired from the school district here, and I worked in another school district in Alaska. So I came on board with Connect Tribe about 4 years ago. We started a TEA with a STEP grant, and then we moved to the next STEP grant, which was a 3-year grant. And one of the things was start a charter school. So I'll just give you the real brief thing is we basically took the charter school application from the state. We set up numerous, over 40 community meetings, and most of it was done through Zoom because it was in the middle of COVID, but we had some face-to-face meetings as well. And we built our tribal school application, charter school application based on the input from the community and the folks that were serving on different committees or teams. We built that application, we brought it to the school board, we brought it to the district, we went through it with the district administration. The district here is about 20,000 students, and there's, I think, 8 other charter schools, so it's not a new process to the district, though they haven't approved one in 15 years because they don't really like charter schools so much. It was approved by the school district, it was approved by the state school board. 6 months later, we hired a principal. I worked with him. We hired 6 or 8 teachers, 8 teachers, I think 8 staff members. And basically at the same time, we're working on facilities. We got 20 buildings donated from the Anchorage School District, which has 50,000 students and a bunch of buildings that they didn't need. So we transported those out to property owned by the tribe. We've got those set up. The tribe had renovated another building that they were using. So the school moved into that temporarily. They're moving into the portable classroom. The school's moving into portable classrooms within the next few weeks. They're being renovated and hooked up to electricity and Wi-Fi and everything. We have 140 students. So it was a 2-year process. When I wrote the grant timeline, it was a 3-year grant. I wanted to make sure if we're going to do this, we jumped on it, we got it done right away so that the 3rd year of the grant could be kind of working out all the bugs. And I'm so glad I did that, because there's been quite a few bugs, and just working on MOAs with the district and how to share data, how to share services that the tribe offers through other grants like the Choices Grant and other things with the school community during the school day. So there's been quite a bit of work, a lot of MOA, 2 or 3 intense MOAs with the school district, which are being, constantly reviewed, or they were reviewed by the attorneys for the tribe, attorneys for the school district, and we go back and forth on that stuff. Invoicing, the school is funded through the school district because it's a charter school, so the school employees are all employees of the school district, but they're affiliated with the tribe in that they're in tribal property, they're leasing property from the tribe. The governing board of the school, 4 of the 7 members are appointed by the tribal council according to bylaws that we wrote. So it's been quite a process. So, we're still working out it. We're expecting more students to enroll. We have capacity once the facilities are all completed and the ADA ramps are put in place. We'll have capacity for 250 to 300 students very easily. So we're hoping to expand that. We also have a statewide correspondence school that was approved through the charter application. That was a little bit of a negotiation between us and the school district, but the state approved it right away. So we're offering some blended learning, some statewide correspondence, homeschool support. So it's, when I went into this process, I was like, we're going to go for as much as we can, get as much as we can in there right away. So it's a K-12 school. So we put everything into the charter. The charter was approved as a 10-year charter. And that was a little bit of a back and forth with the state administration, but the state school board was on board with it. So we didn't, and the relations that I've had with some of the commissioner of education going back 10 years and other people in the school district was really helpful in this whole process. Esther's online too. She can speak to it if you have more questions, or if you have another question, I can try to answer it.
Carl, thank you so much. That was a great deal of information, and I appreciate you sharing. I did not engage my active listening whenever you began. Do you mind repeating what community are you serving?
Yes. Yeah, and I made that clear. So Upper Cook Inlet, Knik Tribe, Matanuska-Susitna Borough is the borough, and the Matanuska-Susitna Borough School District. And so it's Wasilla, it's Palmer, it goes all the way up to Talkeetna. So South Central Alaska, about 40 miles north of Anchorage.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, there's about 100,000 people in this area. The school district, like I said, has about 20,000 students. And the school district itself serves about 3,500 Alaska Native American Indian students in it.
Okay, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Carl, thank you so much for sharing. And Deidre, that is exactly what we were moving into next. So thank you for that perfect segue.
And before you jump into the next one, I'm just going to make one quick plug on the PD meeting before people turn their attention to other more exciting things. If you have other ideas, do not feel like this was your one and only opportunity to provide those ideas. We really want to make sure that you are getting your needs met through the project director meeting, that the sessions that we're providing and the speakers that are there and the topics that are covered are what are going to be of most benefit to you and to your team. So also, any of your staff, think widely. So if you think of ideas, again, if it's a topic, you don't have to know who should present about it. If it's just a topic you want more of, make us do the hard work. We'll figure out who can present on the topic. Just give us that topic. Or, also I say dream big, even if you think, I'm not sure that you could get this speaker, or I'm not sure you could get this organization, but it would be great. Challenge us, share all of those ideas so that we can really make this the best use of your time and the best professional development opportunity for you. So that's my one little plug. I know Olani and Casey have both placed our email address conveniently in the chat box in case you didn't have it. So you can continue sharing here in the chat, as well as email those ideas in later, because later you'll be enjoying some afternoon coffee and you'll be like, lightning bolt, and you can send that lightning bolt right on in.
Thank you,
And
Sarah.
in that same note, Sarah, if you all have done something amazing in your programs, and I know everybody has, share that with Sarah, and maybe you can do the presenting, because a lot of our grantees are always looking for ways to improve their grant, and we have a lot of new grantees that are coming in. So if you've done something or presented something or overcame an obstacle, let Sarah know, and Sarah and the team, and that would be amazing to have you all share that at the meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate you jumping in and sharing that. So we, just like Deidre said, she and her team are new. That we have some new grant recipients, the Cheyenne Arapaho Tribe, and so we want to welcome them. And we're going to take the next few minutes to walk through and introduce everyone and talk about what's happening in everyone's projects. So we were going to start with the Connect Tribe with Carl, and I just want to leave any space for Carl to add any other updates about what may be happening currently in your project. And then we'll just go project by project so that our new team can learn a little bit about what's going on, and so that we can have a good update in this 2023 year. Carl, was there anything that you wanted to add?
Not necessarily on the charter schools. So one of the other, GEPRA measures is teacher recruitment and retention, and then there's also work-based learning. I'll let Esther speak to work-based learning, but I'll talk about teacher recruitment and retention. So one of the things that I'm working on with the state, I'm on a task force for teacher recruitment and retention, and it's a nationwide issue. There's just less people going into education as a profession. The pipeline of teachers that we used to get in Alaska is drying up. We're really looking closely at trying to develop some grow your own type models on this task force, and we're making recommendations to the state governor, the state's governor, the Department of Education, and then also the legislature and school boards on how to increase recruitment. And our focus is really on trying to develop teachers from within the communities and grow your own, because they're more likely to stay in Alaska. They're more likely to already understand all the challenges in Alaska. We're looking at housing and some other things as well. But that's been, I just got done with a meeting yesterday afternoon with about 20 folks, and we're just brainstorming, laying everything out in a table. And the legislature and the governor especially has said improving teacher recruitment and retention is a priority. So that's something that we're trying to get kind of completed by March and get into the legislators' hands. If there's regulation changes, certification pathways, it might be easier for folks. So that's an update on the teacher recruitment portion. Like I said, the school, it's fun to talk about. It's great to see all the little kids in there. We have a lot of interest. We're advertising statewide. And we just, the other thing is the school has a tribal liaison position that works to bring the tribe's programs and services into the school. And that's kind of unique. The tribe has agreed to pay for that position, which is nice because the school budget is really, really, really tight. And so this morning, I was just working with the school principal and the tribe on the invoicing and the MOAs that go with that. So that's an update on those things. I'll let Esther speak to work-based learning. She's been doing a lot of work on everything, but work-based learning is her focus.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Carl. Those are some really good things going on. And I'm here on the Fort Peck Reservation in northeastern Montana, and I feel like we are trading teachers back and forth, Montana and Alaska. We have lots of people that are coming from Alaska, and I know that lots of Montanan teachers are heading up to Alaska. So that's quite interesting. And I think a Grow Your Own program is a great next step. Esther, did you want to add anything?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, I've been doing some work-based learning activities with our high school students from the charter school. There are normally about 15 high school students, 9th to 12th grade. We've had about 4 sessions so far. I've got to do interest profile assessments because the majority of them, they really don't know what they want to do yet. They're just figuring out who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was fun to see their results because some of them didn't agree with what the results were. And so we had good conversations on that. So we hope to get some job shadowing established with the community. Right now I've gotten some no's so far because of liability, but I'm still hopeful to find, an organization or business that be willing to take in some students. But even if we have to do job shadowing within our organizations, and we have done that, we'll just continue to do that too. That'll be, more ideal if they're able to get out in the community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Thanks for sharing. And it sounds like you're getting off to a great start with those interest surveys. That sounds like a perfect way to help them figure out who they are and what they're thinking that they want to do. Awesome. Well, thank you, Connect Tribe, for sharing with us. We're going to move to Blue Lake Rancheria. If you want to give us an update on what's happening on your project.
Sure thing. Actually, just met yesterday. We're working right now to expand our community partners for our internship program, where students would go and do work with various community partners and explore the job there. Just met with Bureau of Land Management yesterday, and we have a first scheduled field trip for the students coming in April, and then potentially another one with them in June. They're going to do animal counts. They're going to learn about all the different career pathways in Bureau of Land Management. So that's working out. We've got that set up with California State Parks as well, because we're really focusing on the agriculture and natural resources pathway of our Modern Youth Internship Academies program. So we got that going right now. And the students are putting together a student-led conference. It's coming in April, and we've partnered with Northern Arizona University and their ITEP program, as well as our program here at Cal Poly. And the students are going to be putting on this, it's called Success in Both Worlds Conference, and it's going to be 2 days at one of the high schools and then at Sumag State Park, where our village is located. The Yurok Village is located there, Sumag Village. And so it's going to have information on different career pathways. And our focus this year is climate change and climate adaptation plans for tribes and the impact of climate change on tribal lands and the health of the people. So we're currently engaging with pre-conference what I call information sharing and gathering for our student projects that are going to be done at the conference. We are engaging in discussion boards with students. So scientists are coming, they're either meeting in person at the high schools, because we have multiple high schools involved. They're either meeting at the high schools or they're meeting online, like a Zoom meeting like this. And then it's being recorded and the discussion board is being placed, and students are going to be engaging in discussions with the scientists. If they couldn't make the in-person or Zoom meeting, they'll be able to continue to engage with each other and with the scientists on these 10 various topics we are going to be addressing at the climate change conference. So we got a lot of organizational stuff happening right now behind the scenes, coordinating transportation, all of that kind of stuff. We just closed enrollment on our NAS 104 class that we have through Extended Ed with Cal Poly. So
Mhm.
we spent this last year arranging all different kinds of Extended Ed courses for our students to get CSU, California State University credits that go for their general education credits. And they get 3 university credits, which equals approximately 10 high school credits. And so they're taking those courses and they're knocking off both courses for high school and getting their general ed done for college. So we're trying to get them prepped. These are 100 level courses. They're getting them into the concept of what you have to do for college classes. They're getting to know some of the teachers at the university. So we're trying to create that network for the students. We had 24 students in the fall and we have 32 students this spring. So yay, we're really excited about that. Getting that up and running and going for our program. We also had a MOU with the Wiyot tribe that was signed, and we are currently working on establishing an internship program with them at their site in Eureka, as well as building that relationship, helping them build relationships with school districts. Right now, the Wiyot tribe, where they're particularly located, the school districts that serve them do not have a Title VI program. So we are working with them to get all the paperwork together for them to establish a Title VI program, get some educational policies, the understanding what a parent advisory committee needs to do, all of those kinds of things. So that's part of our helping our TEA and their hopefully soon to be established TEA in growing capacity to offer educational programming. And conversely, on the other side of that, we're working with the LEAs for them to understand what their responsibilities are. We have a tribal consultation meeting set up with the Eureka City Schools on February the 3rd, and we're going step by step through the ACLU report that was put out regarding our county and the lack of support for Native American students and the lack of success. So I'm going step by step through that report, addressing it in the tribal consultation with Eureka City Schools, and then we're going to be doing that with all the rest of the districts in the county. So it's a lot of work that's going on there. Lots of, for the STEP grant, I have 11 other grants.
Oh, wow.
For education that we're trying to coordinate with all of this program, but really it's focusing on getting the schools and our programs and the Wiyot tribes programs robust and well-defined so that they can work properly, because the funding in certain, they're missing complete funding for all those kids around the Wiyot tribe and those districts under Title VI. And that funding right there can go to help solve the problems that we're identifying in our tribal consultation. So that's one of the steps in our tribal consultation that we're working with, to make sure that, they, I have it written down right here, that we have a program improvement plan, that we make sure that student prevention and risk programs have effective instruction and appropriately trauma-informed instruction, which some of them do not, and making sure that the language opportunities are available. They're right now at Eureka High School and NOHUM, they have the Yurok language as an available choice, but we do not have anything set up for the Wiyot language yet. So we're going to be working with the Wiyot tribe, and hopefully those school districts, once they get their Title VI programs up and running, that we can get a program there for the Wiyot language. So those are what we're focusing on right now. And I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that's a lot to be happy about, for
Oh my
sure.
God.
There's a lot going on.
Well, when you open yourself up and you're like, hey, who can we help? And people go, oh, you want to help us? And so it's like, you just have to be there and be ready to accept it. Sometimes you think you're going to get a trickle and you get a flood. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, great job. It sounds like you've got a lot going on there, and I can't wait to hear more about the student-led conference that's happening. That would also be a great thing if you want to present at PD. I'm sure a lot of people would love to know how you coordinated a student-led conference. And that sounds really amazing. So I can't wait to hear more about that. Thank you so much for sharing, Allison. Next up, we have VTech. Oh, I went too far.
And Sarah, we don't actually have anyone from VTech on
Oh,
today.
VTech is
Sorry.
not on. All right, so we will move over to Mashpee.
Who is also not in attendance just
Oh
yet.
my goodness. All right. Well, then we've got Cheyenne Arapahoe, and we know that you are new, Cheyenne Arapahoe. So just give us an update on how it's going. And feel free to just tell us how it is.
Certainly. Just a little bit about us. We come to you from Oklahoma. Western Oklahoma is our area that we service. Mostly it's the western quarter of the entire state. But what we're working on is we're at a unique stage in our project. We're embarking on developing a charter school model that is geared to enriching culture and academic success into our students. But along with those building stages, we're bringing in staff. I began the beginning of this month. I transitioned over from an NYCP grant. There I was an education specialist. We are still continuing to onboard. We have one more position to fill and we'll be fully staffed. But we have began our meetings with our community education partners and state partners. We have those kind of lined up and we're just, we're going to knock them out and get the ball rolling. Internally, I'm preparing our own program strategic planning documents just to kind of keep us on track and making sure that our goals and objectives are aligning with our TED. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's been packed.
That sounds like a lot. Yeah.
So also we have our education school administrator, Melvin Colson. He's also online. I would like for you guys to meet him. We're going to be partners in crime. So, so come on, Melvin.
Yeah, Melvin, if you want to come off mute and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Melvin, I think you're still
Melvin, we can't hear
muted.
you. No. No, we still can't hear you. Sorry.
If all else fails, you can always do a chat box introduction.
That's right. Are you going to head over to, oh, got it. He's going to head over to Deidre's computer real quick. While you're doing that, Cheyenne Arapahoe, it sounds like you are off to a really good start. You've got a lot lined up, which is excellent. And you said it didn't sound like you did a lot, but you've done a lot. All right, Melvin.
Hi, can you all hear me now?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. All right, yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties with my Surface, so I don't know what's going on. So, but so once again, my name is Melvin Colson, and I'm the Education School Administrator out here for the STEP program for the Cheyenne and Arapahoe tribes, as Deidre had mentioned. And here recently, I've just been trying to gain more knowledge on doing some research on following the capacity building guide, for charter schools, and also just looking at the education, the sovereignty guide too as well. Just trying to gain a deeper understanding and going through the grant and looking at all of that. Just kind of looking at the data that's within the grant too as well. And yes, I'm just happy to be on board here and just ready to move everything forward, and just looking forward to everything. So nice to meet you all. And I actually had some questions for Carl and Allison.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I know Carl had mentioned like they had did like some blended learning for the school, and also Allison had mentioned too about like kind of like the concurrent or dual enrollment, you know, like the credits, like the 3 credits equal, you know, like 10 credits in high school. Anyways, so my question is for you all is, do you all have like AP classes offered there too as well? And what does that look like?
So at the charter school that we started, we have a blended learning teacher coordinator. And she's a certified teacher, and she works with homeschool parents. And some of those students that are homeschooled are, you know, they're all enrolled in our correspondence school. They take a few classes at the school. And so that's what, you know, they might opt in for an art class, or they might opt in for like our partnership with the STEAM Academy. We have aviation, aviation 101. So they might take courses there. And if they want to take a advanced class or something, then she would help coordinate that with the school that offers it. We don't currently at our school offer, I think we have about 40 middle school and high school students, and we have about 4 teachers for that, or 3 teachers for that. So our offerings are very limited. So students want to take those advanced AP courses. We're fortunate we're within a few miles of several large comprehensive high schools, and there's online AP courses that we can access. But for the time being, we're a small school and our offerings are very limited. So we're engaging our partnership with the school district to offer advanced courses.
Mhm.
Thank you, Carl. We're in a similar situation. I apologize if my internet's kind of unstable at the tribal office. We're in a similar situation in the sense that we attempted to have dual enrollment with our College of the Redwoods, but they have a very limited number of classes that they will be able to provide through dual enrollment. And that has mainly to do with their faculty and the issues with being a community college faculty person and the degrees you have to have and the classes you're going to teach. And so dual enrollment hasn't worked very well for us with College of the Redwoods, very limited. The advanced placement classes, the AP classes, also, we have a very limited number of advanced placement classes that can be offered based upon the staffing that we have to teach those courses. So what we've done is we have connected with Cal Poly Humboldt through their Office of Extended Ed. And that does cost, it is a tuition cost because they are getting units that are, because they're being enrolled as college students. So that is also very limited in the classes. We've been working with their extended ed office to get more classes in the science fields. We have Native American Studies classes that we've set up, that are not offered at our high schools. So the NAS 104, they're taking this spring. We've been planning it for about a year now, and we got the appropriate teacher, the appropriate guidelines, everything we need, and we have what I call back-end support. So the students, if they start struggling, they have mentors and tutors along the line to help them with the class, because it's a full-on college level course. So if anything, I would say that has been the most successful, doing the extended ed. I mean, AP classes are there, but like I said, they're pretty limited. But the dual enrollment is also very limited. So between all 3 of them, we maybe offer all that, you know, another school district in a larger area might be able to offer. But I don't think our programs are as robust as they could be. And I think that it has to do with the fact that our staffing, our available teachers just can't teach the courses. They just don't have what it takes to teach those courses. So if anything, going back to the growing your own program, if you want your teachers to be able to teach those courses, you've got to grow your teachers into it. So not only getting teachers there, but then making sure they have the appropriate level. Like we have to have, in order for our teachers to be dual enrollment teachers, they have to be qualified to teach it at the college, in the community college, and that means they have to have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and they both have to be in the same exact area. Like me, my bachelor's is in music, but my master's is in administration, public administration. So they won't let me teach an administration course because I have a bachelor's degree in music, even though I've been an administrator for 25 years. So it doesn't matter. So if you have anything in plan, if you want to do long range planning, that's also growing your teachers in their level. So if you have bachelor's teachers getting the master's degrees, especially if you want to have dual enrollment with your community college. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of little intricacies that if you get involved with your community college, you'll learn that I did not know when I started this, and best of luck to you.
And I'd love to add to that too, Melvin. Here in Montana, I live in a very, very, very rural area. And our surrounding schools have the opportunity to take dual enrollment from tribal colleges. And it could be a tribal college all the way across the state. And they do that through the online platform. So there are several online platforms that they use. So it may be worth reaching out to our local tribal college is Fort Peck Community College. And I know that anyone across the state can go to that college and take in high school dual enrollment classes from that college. So it may be worth looking at that model and seeing how they do that as well, because there may be something transferable to Oklahoma.
Right. Thank you for your knowledge and insight.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Did you have any other questions, Melvin?
That was it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing, Cheyenne Arapahoe. It's really exciting to see your thinking and how far you are in your development, and just your zest for moving forward. It sounds like you guys have a great trajectory. So we talked about the great stuff that's happening in our program, but I don't want us to forget about that sometimes there's challenges, and we can help each other out, just as Melvin was looking for an answer to one of his questions. It's great for us to have conversations about some of the other challenges that we have. So let's work through these 3 questions together. I love how much participation we've had today, so I'd love to keep that going. And maybe think about what challenges you're currently experiencing with implementing your program, or maybe implementing a specific part of your program. What are some challenges that you're having?
So I'll start, just be very brief. Our professional development for our teachers and implementing Indigenous related school activities. Well, most of our teachers we hired late in the game because we didn't get approved by the state school board till June. So our startup was August. So that's one of the things, that we're challenged by. We hired teachers with not strong backgrounds in Indigenous activities and education instructional approaches. So just trying to find folks, and that's one of the reasons I put that on there for PD. So we're just working through that, trying to build those skill sets and meet our mission, vision, and goals for the school. And then, I don't know, Esther might have something on work-based learning.
The challenge for me with work-based learning so far has been just getting other organizations and businesses on board that aren't within Kinnick Tribe. We're facing a lot of liability. For example, NIT, which is a vocational program out here in the Valley. They offer a lot of different programs like CDL drive-in, construction, welding. They were really excited about getting kids on board, but they're also faced with liability. But even with that, we're able to do school tours with the students. So that's something that it's not just the same as job shadowing, but at least they get to set foot inside the facility. Hear about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that does sound like a big challenge. Does anyone have any thoughts about how they can overcome any of those? That's some big challenges. All right, thank you for sharing. Does anyone else have any other challenges that they're experiencing with implementation?
Blue Lake Rancheria here. One of our biggest challenges is we have 31 school districts in our service area that we work with. And just this last year, we had 5 new principal superintendents. So we worked to establish relationships with the schools, particularly the schools that have a high number of Native American students. I'll just use one of them example. Big Lagoon Elementary serves Big Lagoon Rancheria, 99% Native American students there. New principal, this is the 3rd one in 3 years. And it got so bad that every single person on the school board was removed. And they're all gone, and they have a whole new school board, and they have an interim superintendent and principal supplied by the county office because they've had such problems at their school. And so we've been working with them for now going on 4 years, and we provide supplemental educational services through our other grants, but administratively through the STEP grant, we're trying to build their capacity to serve Native American students. That's difficult when you have a new administrator every year. And the one that's there this year, I work with at the County Office of Ed. She's, come in to be there. So she already knows me. That's great. That's a lot better. But she's dealing with recruiting a new principal that they're bringing in. We're trying to make sure that we have a say on the hiring so that we get someone who committed to stay. But this is just one of 5 this year that have new principals. Luckily, we have a Grow Your Own Administrator program, and we're growing Native administrators, and I have 3 that I've in these new schools. So I put out administrators, and we're going to have 7 more that we're graduating in May. And I'm hoping they will come in, but we just have to convince them, like Carl said, to make sure they stay and move in the area, because we have a large service area. We cover 276 miles, so it's pretty large. And asking them to come to Big Lagoon would be difficult. And we have that same issue of lack of housing. So yeah, we want you to come, but we have no place for you to live, or anywhere on the rancheria or near the rancheria or near the school. So you're living 45 minutes away and making that drive every day with the cost of gas the way it is in California. That is prohibitive. Even if you pay them a good salary, they're taking, $150 a week or more in gas. That's ridiculous. Yeah. So the challenges we're having are the constantly rotating and removal of administration that we're trying to work on capacity building with and establish, PD for their staff so they can learn about the curriculum we've created. The lack of teachers, like I said earlier, that have the credentials to be able to teach the classes that we want taught. That's why we're growing our own CTE teachers. And just in general, people are burnt. There's like a large burnout right now, and staff are retiring. And so we've had probably 4 different staff people retire from the programs that we've helped establish in the last year. And so replacement of those people, like Carl said, he had to hire people that aren't completely informed about how things should work and go. And so having to hire what you can because it's all you have, and then the constant training. We brought in a gentleman that had worked for the Hoopa tribe into our school district that we primarily work with on the high school programs. And he was hired and brought in February, and he's accepted a position with the Yurok tribe, and he left. So not even a whole year. It was going to be 1 year next month. And, the challenges that we face are hard. And I don't mean to say this, but it's kind of depressing. The fact, I don't know if I've shared this, we've had several student suicides in the last year, and the most recent one was just December 21st. She's 13 years old, and so when you work in schools and you're having this happen repeatedly, it after a while, if you don't have the wherewithal to be able to persevere, you find work elsewhere. And so we have people that have come to work in our schools that can't cope with all of the issues that the students face. And they can, if they can't cope with it, how are the students supposed to cope with it, right? And so they leave. So we've lost, Eli was wonderful. We loved him. And he's now going to work for the Yurok tribe, not in education, because he just can't handle it. It was too much. He was like, I can't do this anymore. So that's a problem. And I don't know how to solve that. That's a bigger issue. And if anything, it would be help for our staff to deal with, how do you deal with student suicide? How do you deal with combative parents? That's hard. So there, I'll leave that. Those are the challenges we're facing right now.
Yeah. Absolutely, Allison. That secondary trauma that you're talking about is real. And it's, in a time that, Carl was talking about this a little bit earlier, where, it's difficult enough to get teachers, and there's a shortage across the United States, that now we're asking teachers and educators to step into a space where they're not comfortable, or maybe are not, well-versed in Indigenous culture and Indigenous ways of knowing and being and doing. And that's a big culture shift for teachers who have a hard time, with embracing things that are new, especially new teachers. They're like, yes, I know exactly what I'm going to do, and let me go jump in and do it. So, that's sounds like a very big challenge, and we are here to help you talk through any of that. I don't know how much I can do to support you in actionable items, but this group is definitely here to talk through that with you. And I'm sorry to hear about the recent death in your community. It's
been
really
hard.
sad.
And we're trying the best we can. We had, through our NYCP grant, we had chosen a curriculum through Dr. Teresa Laframboise, Native American Life Skills Development Curriculum, which we have put out through our County Office of Ed. So it's gone out throughout the county, and we're offering workshops on it through Northern California Indian Development Council and the County Office of Ed and Two Feathers Native American Family Services to try and get more teachers to embrace this curriculum, which can help them deal with these kinds of things. But
absolutely, yeah,
it's such a taboo subject. Suicide's a major taboo in the tribal culture up here. And so to try and address that has been difficult. And we have to be very careful on how we approach it. So just something to share with you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And again, I'm sending love out to your community. Cheyenne or Arapaho, do you guys have any challenges with implementing your program?
As of now, we are starting a little behind, but we are moving along. We're setting up an entire program, so just regular tribal processes, learning, getting equipment in, but also realizing that we really need to get moving on this endeavor. That's really our only challenge, and it's really not a challenge. It's pretty much an understanding that this is the current situation, and we'll work through that.
That's part of the process, right?
Yeah. So as of right now, I wouldn't say we have encountered any challenges, but I'm sure they'll come, and we'll bring them up to you guys.
Absolutely, we will be here. We will be here when you have those challenges. And Carl and Allison more than me for sure, because they are the ones on the ground and doing the work, and they have worked through this a little bit ahead of you in your process. So great. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. I'd like to move us to the next bullet point that's on the screen. And I want you to think about one goal that you can set to move forward in your challenge area, or in one of your challenge areas, to think about before March. And I'd love for you to just think about that for a minute, and then maybe post it in the chat so that we can capture that and circle back to it later this year. And everyone's welcome to put one in there. We'll give you a little bit of think time. This is the part where we needed thinking music. It doesn't have to be a big goal. It can be a little goal, an attainable goal. Now, between now and March is not that long. And maybe your goal doesn't have to do with your challenge area. Maybe it's just something that you know that is coming up that you want to tackle. Yeah, Allison, I think that's a great idea. Working together, doing some of that capacity building. Absolutely, Carl. That looks great.
Hey, Carl, let me know if you want me to send you what we did for our PD for the Indigenous cultures in the academic area for teachers. We have an equity series that it's ongoing, and I can have Marley send you links to the videos in our program to see if that's something you want to do.
Absolutely. I'd love to see it. I'm trying to gather as much information as I can. And, you know, Alaska's got resources spread out all over the place, and we're trying to take advantage of those, but models from other places outside our state would be greatly appreciated. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'll ask her to send that on to you.
I love that cross-project sharing. Thank you so much, Allison, for offering that. And that leads us to our third bullet point, which is what assistance or resources would help you accomplish your goal? Is there anything that we can provide for you? Is there anything that you need from each other? Is there anything that we can do to help you with your goal that you stated, or maybe there's something that you need help with just in general? I'll go with you to Hawaii, Carl. We can go together. Great. Well, you guys think about that. If there's anything that you can think of that you need some help with, feel free to reach out to anyone that's here today with us. So it sounds like Allison and Carl are very, very willing to help Deidre and Melvin. So if you need anything, you can always reach out to us to email OIE or to at the email address that either Alani or Casey will stick up on the chat for me. And we're going to go ahead and move over. Thank you, Alani. So we've had a really great conversation today, and I would love for all of our talking circles to have really rich and meaningful conversations for you. My question here is, what topics would you like to see in some of our upcoming talking circles, topics that may be really important to you that we as a team have not thought about? You can stick those either in the chat or you can come off of mute, either one. Give you a couple seconds to think. And if you don't have any right now, that's okay too. Again, you can email us if you think of any and you're like, hey, I really think that this would be a great topic. We would love to talk about it. And we've been talking with someone else and they also have these same questions. We are very, very, very willing to take your ideas. This is your time. It is time that we want to make sure that you are getting what you need. And so we would love to hear from you if you have any ideas. All right. So with that, are there any questions that anyone has that we have not talked about today, or maybe something that you came with today that you were like, I really need to know about this?
I was going to ask real quick on the APR report that's due February the 28th. You're having that meeting on March the 30th, right? Are you still going to be, are there any changes to that supplemental section C document that was created? I think Sarah created is it the same one so I can start using that, or did you update it with new things?
That's actually such a good question. What we are looking at right now, if there's any kind of tweaks that need to be made, but there, to my knowledge, won't be any substantive changes. So yeah, you could definitely continue to use that to go ahead and start. And even if there are a couple of tweaks, you'll have, basically what you need. So yeah, great question.
And just to clarify, because the report's due April 28th, I'm assuming that it's all financial transactions through like March 31st, right? Like
that is it. Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
October 1st through end of March is your reporting period.
All right. So we are going to move forward and do the poll. And Sarah, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It wasn't popping up on my screen. So you will see a poll right in front of you. And we would just love your answers to these quick 7 questions. They help us to determine if your needs were met today and if we need to do anything different for you next time. So we really do appreciate you taking that poll. We'll leave it open for just a little bit. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. We really do appreciate that. All right, so moving into some of our final reminders. Remember that if you have any changes or additions to anything that has to do with your program, please email the oie@sciservices.com email address. Make sure that you CC your program officer, Donna Bussell, for changes to any project director or authorized representative changes. Also, when you're emailing, please make sure to include your name, your role, and your email address. That's very, very helpful to us as we're going through those emails.
And just a quick note on that one. So I know some of you, like you've mentioned, are having some staff changes. So remember that we want to include your entire team on our email list. So make sure to send those other folks in so they're getting those calendar invites, they're getting the newsletters and all of those things, as well as if you have any changes to project director. So like Deidre, I know, y'all were making a change to project director. Make sure to send those in to Donna Bussell. So while we can make the changes and add as many folks as you would like to the email distribution list, those official changes in project director need to go through Donna Bussell, but we're happy to help you figure out exactly what you need to send to her to make that change official.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. All right. And as always, you can connect with your technical assistance team with any of the following things that are listed up on the screen, and they will be put in the chat shortly. So you can contact us at the email that's listed, or you can schedule a coaching session with your TA team for one-on-one support or a 1-hour session using the Calendly link. and those are listed in the chat. So we've got some upcoming events for you. Your next few talking circles will happen from 1 to 2:30 Eastern time on March 16th, May 18th, and August 17th. We do have an upcoming office hours from 1 to 2 Eastern next week on January 26th. And remember, that's the time that you can come with any questions that you have, and all of the different discretionary programs will be there, and they will have their questions, and we will get anything answered that you have questions about. And then we have your upcoming APR preparation webinar. That's going to happen March 30th at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And Sarah just put in the chat, if you have not received calendar invites for any of the events that are listed on the screen, please, please, please reach out to us so that we can get you connected to those calendar invites. And again, just like Sarah said, if you have anybody who is on your team that needs these calendar invites, then let's make sure that those go out to the email address that was listed so that Sarah can get you all squared away and getting those emails. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today. If you have any questions about anything, our information is listed up on the screen here. Before we go, I wanted to give Donna Bussell any opportunity to say any last minute words. Donna, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Not really. When you are emailing me for any official changes, please, please, please make sure you, and it's highlighted right there. For that PR number, I have a lot of grants, and I know a lot of you, but it's so much easier for me to just look at the email and find that PR number and look things up. So that would help me to answer your email quicker.
Great. Thank you so much, Donna. And then if you would like to follow us on Twitter, we like to post lots of things on there, lots of interesting program things that are happening. And you can follow us at OIE at Indian Ed, or at OIE Indian Ed, sorry. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. It was lovely to meet all of you. I cannot wait to see you again in March and hear about your updates and how your goals are going. Please let me know if you need anything. Please reach out to us at the OIE email address. We hope you have a great afternoon. Namaste.